All right, Nick. Trying to close it
Live?
out.
We live?
We're as live as we've ever been.
Let's go. Let's go. How about this game, man?
I have to make one omission. I've listened to this entire game on the radio, and I'm continuing to listen to it on the radio.
Hey, I respect the commitment.
Well, I was in my garage. The chat's on us. We're a little bit late, but I was in the garage and I was doing some electrical things, and it was enjoyable. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna continue to listen to this on the radio. I know I'm not gonna be able to see it, probably like the nuances of the game, but something about the old school.
Tommy throws great. He does a great job.
Yeah, cowboy boy. I tell you what, he's.
Boy. Where are you at here?
You got a guy on first, I'm guessing. Oh no, I don't like this.
We got a one-run game, and the tying runs on second base.
Really? I'm that far behind. How is the feed that far behind?
Radio is crazy behind. I've noticed.
What? Now I'm like scrambling. I'm gonna have to try to find TV. Oh no.
This would not be good if this game goes to extra innings either, because I don't know if you saw the from Charlie. There's only guys left are Lively and Young, who's pitched the last 2 days.
Let's not talk about that. Positive vibes only. We're gonna get out of this. I just went 0-1, 1 out, 1-run game. I had to switch over the television.
On. There we go. Look at doofus.
Chat. How's it going?
Chat, what's our confidence here? We got this?
Yeah, I don't understand how the radio is that far behind on an MLB app. That makes no sense.
It truly does not make any sense at all.
But here we are. There's a lot of things that don't make sense in regards to MLB and multimedia, but here we go. Positive vibes only. Until they're not.
24 pitches. Oh boy.
I'm getting a mound visit right now. I don't know how.
We're synced then. At least close. I'm on a mound visit.
Okay. Bum.
Man, Sir Boy's just giving it to you.
Yeah, he's not a big fan right now, is he? It's fine. Just because I tell the truth. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it.
So yeah, a big weekend here for Chatterbox. Paul getting married, Casey bachelor partying. I mean,
yeah. Meanwhile,
what a time to be alive.
That's a thank you, Strike. I appreciate that. I'm gonna have a situation here where at some point my wife's gonna realize that my daughter Reese is down here, and she's gonna. I don't know if she'll freak out, but she's gonna be scrambling trying to get her. It's gonna be a fun time.
My kids are gone right now. My wife is like is so like. I told her, I was like, when we started, we said, yeah, if kids come in, like it's not a big deal. Like that we're doing this every stinking game. Like,
right.
But my wife will not. No, the kids can't come down. I'm like, it's not a big deal.
There's
too many. The end of the world.
Too many games for us not to have a kid sighting.
Loose. Oh boy.
That's okay. That's a double play.
One pitch away.
Yeah, that's all. That's not a big deal.
Peyton Burdick, righty, up next. Then Gene Segura. There's no lefties up either.
Who do we have here? I mean, who do we have in the pen? I know Lucas Sims threw one pitch. We'll get into that, I'm sure.
We have Alex Young.
We got Alex Young
and Ben Lively.
I know, and Ben Lively just literally put his cleats on.
And I guess maybe Luke Malley. He's pitched a couple times.
No. Is he telling him to come in or stay out? Chat, what was he just doing right there?
I'm guessing he was saying, I got this.
That looked like I mean, I think he meant he doesn't want them to come out.
But
however, his little mannerisms there, well, that's not the right nonverbal communication to let someone know that you don't want them to come out. That looked like waving them on out there. Oh, he wanted them out and visit. Yeah, I don't know. It looked like he wanted them to come out. Maybe he did. Maybe he wanted them to. That's what it was. I'll get into it in a minute. That's what it was. Okay. Who said that? I'm going to give him credit. RM. RM is on it. Pitch clock, all things considered, Diaz wanted a breather. He asked for them to come out, so he just got himself a chance to regroup. That's exactly what happened. Now he's about to get this double play right here and look like a genius.
Whew.
2-1.
I have no idea who this guy is for the Marlins, but he's got an OPS over 1,000.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, it's 12 at bats, and he hit a home run yesterday, so I guess that probably helps a little bit. But
double play, come on, Nick. That's an out. That's an out.
Ooh.
Where's my right fielder?
Will's got it.
Thank you.
Will's got it. Just a veteran catch right there. The veteran leadership to call off his teammates. I mean, that's worth $7 million in itself. I can't even look. All right, one more.
Yeah.
This has been a nutty game.
I love the ADT patch, by the way. Come on, Diaz.
31 pitches, man. It's tough, too, because I felt pretty good about Legumina out there. I felt like that was a pretty good spot for him where he was at in the lineup.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. Yeah, find a way.
Come on. Ooh. Hey, Brian, if we're 2 pitches ahead on the stream, I would pause the YouTube stream for like 10, 15 seconds and then replay it again. Get yourself somewhat synced up. We don't want to ruin it for you.
And then resync when we do the intro.
Yeah, then when we go to the intro, you can just go back to live. That's a good pitch. That's a good take, Nick.
That is a strong take. A guy who doesn't walk a lot either, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's a 2-0 take though, if we're being honest. If that was a 1-2, yeah, if that was a 1-2 pitch, he's swinging. Oh,
that's a good pitch. That's a good pitch.
It was.
He wasn't going to swing though. I don't think he's a 3-0 swinger.
I agree. This is a big pitch, though, right here.
Yeah.
I think you go back to that slider. Don't throw him a fastball. Oh, he went. What? Okay, that's all right. Listen, you don't get runs for how many guys are on base when you make the third out, so.
Ooh, sure.
He didn't go.
It was the right call.
It was the right call. We can live with the right call in chat. Well, here we go. Here we go.
Yuri Gurriel.
Oh, hell yeah. That's how you start off an at-bat, baby.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go.
I thought for sure they were about to call balk there or something.
Yeah. Come on.
0-2.
Finish him. Let's go. Just, if we block the ball right here, we're stepping on the plate. If we block the ball right here, we're stepping on the plate. Okay. That's a great pitch. Setting up another slider here in a minute. Just got to make one good pitch here. One good pitch and make a play in the field. Come on. Good battle.
These are good pitches.
Great pitches. That's a good spoiler. I do think a slider is the pitch to go to off the plate. It's got to be a foot off the plate. Looks like a fastball outside, and it's just gone.
Yeah!
Come on!
Woo!
Come on!
Woo!
What'd I tell you, chat? Let's start this show.
Woo!
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurel Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Reds win! Line to right field. Genius, the first run ever. With 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
Nick, the Cincinnati Reds just held off the fighting Marlins from Miami. And I got to tell you, Nick, it didn't feel good there towards the end, but that was one of the most enjoyable baseball games that I've experienced in quite some time. I started off on the radio, as I mentioned. I then had to convert over to the TV just because my stream was so far behind. We'll get into that later in the show, perhaps. But nonetheless, the Reds win again. Starting to feel a little bit different. Your overall thoughts, and then obviously the box score recap, which is a wild one. I don't know if you have the ability to recap this game because we might be here for an hour in and of itself. But nonetheless, you do have on the rundown Rake Fraley, and that is appropriately coined. And for the chat, I don't even know. I got a situation where I don't actually have a can, but that's so anti-dramatic. But nonetheless, here we are. This is for you. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, man, what a game. A bloodbath in Miami. Dude's limping off the field and carried off, and just a wild game. Reds come back, then they blow it, then they come back again, and man, Alexis Diaz there in the 9th. But yeah, I got a full box score recap. Don't you worry. I've been keeping up as I go throughout the game these days when I can, and that makes it a lot easier. So yeah, we're ready to roll whenever you want to go.
Oh, you rip through that box score recap. The chat's popping. We'll get into the chat's question today on this lovely Saturday, and we will also obviously talk through this game and some questions about the bullpen and the City Connect jerseys at the very end. But go ahead with the box score recap, Nick.
All right, well, another bullpen day for the Reds. Derek Lull, scoreless first inning, continues to thrive in that role. Levi Stout was the next guy up. Got the Reds into the 5th inning, only allowing 1 run. Reds trailing 1-0 going into the 5th. Jose Barrero doubled. Kirk Casale walked. And then Jake Fraley hit a 3-run home run off Sandy Alcantara. 395 feet, X velocity 107.2. That puts your Reds up 3-1. The Marlins, they got 1 back on a home run off Buck Farmer in the 6th. Then Lucas Sims came in to relieve him. He only threw 1 pitch to get out of the inning. Not sure if there was an injury or what the situation was there with that. But Ian Jabot came into the 7th with the Reds up 4-3. Or with the Reds up 3-2. Sorry, Reds up 3-2 in the 7th. Jabot got hit pretty hard, allowed 2 runs. Marlins took a 4-3 lead. But in the top of the 8th, Marlins skipper and former Red Skip Schumacher, he decided to keep Sandy Alcantara out on the mound, and the Reds made him pay. India led off with a walk, stole second base, then Fraley snuck a single to the right side of the infield to tie the game at 4. Fraley then stole second. Then a couple batters later, Henry Ramos smoked a double off the wall to put the Reds up 5-4. Unfortunately, Jazz Chisholm of the Marlins got hurt crashing into center field and had to leave the game. Stuart Fairchild gave the Reds what proved to be a very valuable insurance run with an RBI single. That put the Reds up 6-4. Then the 8th, Reds went to Casey Legumina running out of relievers. Legumina got one out, but then he had to be helped off the field when he got hit by a line drive on the leg. Alexis Diaz came in, got the 2 outs in the 8th, and then boy did he battle through the 9th. Bases loaded. I believe he was on his 40th pitch of the game, but he got the job done. Your Cincinnati Reds win 6-5. Reds now only 3 below 500 at 18-21 on the season. Since losing 7 in a row in late April, the Reds are 11-6 since. They've won 4 of their last 6 series. And I got one more for you here, Trace. Reds will be going for their first series sweep on the road of more than 3 games since they swept the Cubs in a 4-game series back in July of 2021.
What a rundown you just provided, by the way. We got to give it up for Nick. Good job on that. That was absolutely incredible. I don't want to bounce too far around on the ticker here, but I do have the quick shout out to the chat. We don't get the opportunity possibly to kind of keep up with our phones and checking things. I want to know if Sims is okay. I can't make sense of it. I don't want to start this show off with just bashing and being upset about something because we're not going to do that. But it does seem like really moronic and or weird for him to go out there and throw 1 pitch and then not come back in, especially with the position that we were in the game. It's not like he, had to Diaz was ready to go for the 9th or something along those lines where you're like, okay, he's just done his job. We'll move on to Diaz. We very much needed, in my opinion, Sims to go back out there again, and he didn't. And obviously, Javo. We talked about this, Nick. We're going to have a little bit of struggles within this bullpen at some point. They're not going to pitch this great all year long. It doesn't mean that I don't think they can be great. It's just the law of averages. Water's going to find its level. This bullpen is going to not struggle mightily, but they're going to have spots where they're going to give up the lead and or let the game get tied again in the late innings, and it's up to our offense to respond, and that they did. But we'll start off. I don't know if you have anything to add with the Sims Jabot thing. Let's do that first.
I'm with you on that. If you're only going to use Sims for one batter, don't use him. I don't, go one way or the other. So I hope he's not hurt, though. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. That's just one of those things we're going to kind of reserve judgment until I know what there is, if there is judgment or not. But yeah, I agree. You shouldn't use him for one batter. That just makes no sense. And if you did, then you really set yourself up for, he got lucky that Diaz was able to get out of that. What if Diaz walks Gurriel and then you go into extra innings and now you're putting Alex Young in a situation where he's maybe risking injury 3 days in a row. He threw a lot of pitches those last 2 days, and Ben Lively, that would not be a good situation for him. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but Reds win. Reds win, Trace.
They did, and we got to keep that in mind. Derek Claw, Levi Stroud, Buck Farmer, Lucas Sims, Ian Jabot, Casey Legumina, and Alexis Diaz, excuse me. I don't know, and I've said it before. I think that's the strength of this team. It has to be. Is this bullpen? Yeah. I mean, they continue to get put in spots that are difficult, and they continue to produce over and over and over and over again. And I guess my only concern would be in this baseball game, if we truly just brought Lucas Sims to throw out 1 pitch, that's my biggest critic, and that's the only thing that I'm going to say that I would probably like to have back from this baseball game. But let's get into other things. Rake Fraley, at this point, I know that we've always joked, and you've kind of made a little poking and prodding about guys being clutch or not clutch, and whether or not, maybe that's just the averages and that's the way they play out. And sometimes you get a big hit in a big spot, and sometimes you don't. And probably the better hitters are going to get a big hit in spots that the worse hitters won't. I don't know. Jake Fraley's starting to kind of prove that a little bit.
He's just a great hitter. I mean, he's just a great hitter against right-handed pitching. I mean, and a lot of, we had talked earlier about, the Reds' power struggle. That's been like the big bugaboo. Well, a lot of that was just Jake Fraley was off to a cool start. I mean, Jake Fraley is the Reds' best power hitter. And, well, he's hit 3 home runs in the last 2 games, and all of a sudden, no, they don't look as anemic, with the long ball as they did before. They're still that's not gonna be a strength of this team by any means, but it wasn't as bad as it felt because your best power hitter wasn't hitting home runs. Well, now he is. That's just a big time home run off Sandy Alcantara, one of the absolute best pitchers in the sport. Cy Young winner last year. I mean, and he just crushed that home run. I mean, there was no doubt about it. I mean, that was just a incredible swing, and he's playing really well right now.
Yeah, I mean, 40 pitches for Diaz is just wild. And shout out, like you said before, Jake Fraley is starting to be the linchpin in this lineup when we need a big hit, and he's continued to provide that for us. We jump into the next the next topic really quickly. We threw the opener with Derek Law again, and he was successful. Your overall thoughts on it? Again, I didn't get a chance really to see the game, so it's hard for me to make really bold claims.
Well, what I just want to ask you was I talked a lot with our guy Shay on this after the game earlier in the week with Reds used the opener, and we both really like using the opener in these type of spots. What's your thoughts on it?
I think it's okay, like in certain spots. I don't know if it's something that I would be doing every 5th day. Right now, the Reds are kind of in a position where they might have to do something like that just because they don't trust, or I don't know what the right word is to use. I don't want to be negative too much here, but I don't know how much they really trust their 5th guy right now to be able to go out and throw innings. And to your point, and to the point of why you throw an opener, I think it does take a little bit of pressure off probably somebody that might be inexperienced. And then on top of that, you get a guy that goes out there that you think is one of your better bullpen arms, and he faces the top 3 guys in the lineup, or 4 or 5, whatever it may end up being. And you kind of get maybe the jitters or the nerves out of the traditional starter, and you let them face a couple guys that aren't obviously as good of hitters to start their day off. So I don't mind it. I don't know how much stock I put into it. But it's worked out so far. So you know what I like, Nick. I like production. So if it works, then keep running it out there till it doesn't.
Yeah, and a lot of shout out to Derek Law. I mean, the 2 games that he's pitched, he's come in and pitched really well. I mean, those tough spots, top of the order spots that he's not used to. He pitched really well. I really like using it. As I've watched this, I go, who I really would like them to try this and maybe start trying it in AAA. Why don't you try this with Brandon Williamson?
Yeah. I mean, you got a good point. You got a good point.
I'm not saying use an opener with Andrew Abbott or use an opener with Hunter Green or Graham Ashcraft or Nick Lodolo, but if you're using Levi Stout, I think they probably should have done it with Luis Cessa when he was starting with Brandon Williamson, other guys. I think it makes a lot of sense. I hope Kevin Herget hasn't got all the way to Louisville because I have a feeling he's going to be back up. Definitely going to need some help tomorrow.
I'm laughing at Evan in the chat because he brings up a good point, and we always do this. He said, "Are we going to blame David Bell for the 2 bullpen wins?" I mean, you got a good point. I mean, players win, coaches lose. That's the way it's always going to be. David Bell was going to get absolutely crucified or ridiculed if Sims was not actually hurt and this didn't go the way. I do want to bring up the point to where you had mentioned that only throwing Sims for the 1 pitch ultimately came back and really, really bit him, with Diaz having to throw 40 pitches and get a 5-out save. My biggest thing would to kind of counteract that would be you don't know that Legumina is going to get hurt in the 8th. I mean, if he goes out and he gives up no runs, right, and he throws that full inning, then no one's really going to get too sideways about that decision. So at the end of the day, to always use one of my catchphrases here, I think David Bell is rightfully criticized most of the time. However, he is well prepared. I will give him that. I think that he's one of the most well-prepared managers that we've had in a while. Now, whether or not you want to agree with the decisions that he makes, what kind of feel David Bell has, that's the part where I'm not sure I love. I don't know how you justify that. I don't know how you can kind of put some kind of like variable to it to where you're just like, okay, yeah, David Bell, he's got great feel. Or but it just feels that way. I hearken back to saying that we did pinch hit Jake Fraley for, I think, Kevin Newman earlier this year in a big clutch spot, but that's here nor there. But anyways, another topic. Shout out David Bell. He won this one. Good for him.
Well, yeah. Anything else on today's game that you wanted to run through? A nice catch by Spencer Steer. How about that play over at first base?
So that was one that I did not see.
Oh, yeah,
I heard with so for those that are obviously just joining, I listened to this game in my garage the whole way until we got to the final inning when I realized that I was way behind everybody else on the radio. Somehow, I don't know how that's even possible, but I guess that's a thing. So Cowboy said that was one of the best catches that he's seen, I believe, and I'm paraphrasing, that he's seen a first baseman make. He didn't think that most first basemen had the range to be able to go make that play. Again, I did not get a chance to see it. I was thinking in my head when I heard him say that, where's the right fielder if he had to run that far? Maybe the right fielder was shifted over. I don't know. I wasn't watching the game, to be fair, in regards to just listening to it. So, defense has been a very, very, very big weakness on this baseball team. And if we can find a way to clean that up a little bit and get a little more – and we've gotten power this weekend. If we can continue to have just a little bit of pop with the bats, then this team is what it is. I seen Reed in the chat jumping in here a minute and trying to have some fun with us and saying, "Oh, you think the Reds are going to win the Central?" We're not going to go that far. I'm not going to get into this crazy, thought process that we think that now is like we gotta win the Central. Like we're right there. Listen, this team still has some holes. However, this team competes. I feel like this team has some good, fun pieces. They're entertaining to watch. The one thing, again, going back to some key moments in the game, stealing bases was something that in spring training we talked about how we were excited to see. This team was running, they were stealing bags. Maybe it was the new bases. Maybe it was a combination of David Bell wanting to be a little more aggressive. But between the two, just listening to the game, that felt like that was a big piece. Is the Reds got a couple stolen bases that allowed them to get in scoring position, and they scored.
Yeah, the India is now 8 of 10 stealing bases. That's impressive, and against a really good pitcher, you do that, and Alcantara threw back a couple times with both guys out there. Might have gotten his head a little bit. I don't know, but I think that's good. And look, who knows how the rest of the season is going to play out? All I know is Reds have been fun as hell to watch of late. They're only 3 under 500. They fought back from that 7-game losing streak when it felt like everything was kind of falling apart, and they got a lot of other really good players that are coming up soon at some point in the near future, and that's just going to add to it. And this was a game the Reds were like plus 200 today, and they just went out and beat the NL Cy Young winner in a bullpen game. I mean, I don't, we don't make any bold explorations, but it was a fun game. It was exciting. This is why you're a fan of a baseball team, is for games like this.
We weren't supposed to win today. We knew that, and we found a way to win. Now we got a chance to sweep tomorrow, and if you get hot, you never know what can happen. I think that there's some help that can be had in this baseball team. We talked about that yesterday, and we'll see what the Reds decide to do. I mean, I don't think we're going to be buyers at the deadline, but that's okay. That we don't. It's not needed. We were. For many of the Reds fans that I remember to start this year off, they were just saying that that we'd be lucky to get to May before the season was over. Well, I don't know. It's May 13th. Mother's Day is tomorrow, by the way. So shout out to all the moms, and I need to go and make sure I clean up my duty on that act later tonight. But nonetheless, Nick, your overall final thoughts on today's games, and then we'll get into the City Connect uniforms.
Just a fun win. Let's won a series. This is back-to-back series wins for the Reds, and series they weren't supposed to win. No one would have expected them to win a series in Miami. No one would expect them to win a series against the Mets, and just keep this riding.
Brian has a good question in the chat. He says, and Brian's smart enough to know that I have zero clue about any of this. He says, Nick, question. Legumina to IL, Hurricane back, and Stroud to Louisville tomorrow? For who? Question mark.
Kunal, just because he's on the 40-man roster. I don't think he's any good, but I mean, you always start with who's on the 40-man roster because especially when like Legumina's not going to be going on the 60-day IL, so you're really kind of running out of your 40-man spots. You don't want to be DFAing a bunch of guys, so Joel Kunal be my guess. I don't think there's anyone else on the 40-man that that you could call up. But always start there.
I am going to get us a nice
Franklin. Oh, they just claimed someone. Red just claimed someone. Franklin German from the White Sox, maybe. I forgot about him. He's on the 40-man, so he would also be a good. They're definitely not calling up Ricky Karcher. He's the other one on the 40-man. Ricky Karcher definitely is not getting called up, and I doubt Brandon Williamson and Lyon Richardson just got Double-A. That's your 40-man options. So,
all right. City Connect uniforms, chat. We'll put up a poll. Do you like them? Do you love them? Do you me on them? Oh, look at you. I got one better than that. Check this out. There you go, Nick. What do you think about that?
There we go.
I don't know. I'll say I kind of plead the fifth on some of it. I like parts of it. I don't like the black pants because I'm just not a black pants guy, which I understand some probably are. I don't hate them. Your thoughts?
I just think they needed another jersey. I was sick of the options we have. I like a black alternate. I think they should have had a black alternate a long time ago. I don't know. It's growing on me. When I first saw it, I was kind of like, eh. I kind of waited, reserved a little judgment, looked at them a couple more times. I was like, you know what? I kind of like these. I think they're pretty cool. I get it. Like, so we had said, do something with a throwback, but I know me and you, Trace, have had a lot of conversations. We're kind of sick of like everything about the Reds being about the 70s. So it's kind of at the same time, like, I kind of get the idea of just, going towards the future and whatnot.
Yeah. I tell you what I think makes them look cool is the background. I think like the way they've displayed it, it's kind of like a marketing tactic, clearly. But I do think that they look reasonable. I would be in the like it category. I don't see where the City Connect comes in. I guess that's part of it.
It's that Cincinnati thing that you see in the lights that's like at the convention center. I think that's what it is. I think that's the connection. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Duke Energy Center.
Yeah, I think that's the connection.
Of all the things, that's what we went with, huh? Interesting.
The helmets are cool. The thing you got to remember is like
I haven't seen the helmets. How do I see the helmets?
They posted them on something. They're like really slick black. They look really, really cool. I think when you see that on when they're at the plate, I think that'll add a lot to it. But you got to remember what the City Connect is. These are like part of that Nike branding, so it had to like follow in line with kind of what they were doing. So they couldn't just throw out some cool retro jersey or something else.
Is there a chance someone in the chat could put like a link to the helmet? I haven't seen the helmet, so I'm a little excited for that. Like I said, I don't hate him. I actually like that that's a thing. I think that the Nike City Connect idea, I love that. I've loved some of them. I thought that the one that I couldn't stand the most was Seattle, and I know people love it. That's the beautiful thing about uniforms and art in general. Some people love things, some people hate them, and you have to live with it. Right now, chat results, very optimistic. Most people love it. Most people like it. 54% love it. 35% like it. Only 8% say it's okay, and 4% say they hate them, which my guess is that 4% is a good chance Reed Mouse.
I put you a link into our YouTube chat. That's probably the easiest way to switch things between. That's got the helmet. I don't know about the hat. The C's weird. I don't know. I think it's not designed for people like us, though. It's for the kids. I'm sure the kids will love it.
Yeah.
I'm sure if my kid was like 12, he'd be like, "Oh, this is the coolest thing ever," and that's what they want, right?
Definitely. The hats, I don't hate the hats. I think the hats have a chance to get played. You're just saying you don't think you could wear it.
I'm not out to buy a hat. I'm out to buy the polo, the dad polo. That looks slick. The helmet I sent you, though, there was a better one that I saw somewhere that looked pretty cool. Maybe it was in the video.
Cool.
But there you go.
I'm looking. Sirboy said he tagged me. I'm guessing you mean on Twitter. I don't see it, but that might just be because I'm trying to do too many things at once. George Santos says the Rockies are the worst. Haven't seen them. I'll have to check that out right when we get off the chat. But more or less, the fact that we have 60 people in here on a Saturday mid-afternoon on a beautiful day, at least in Cincinnati, I'm not sure where everybody is a blessing to us, and I appreciate everybody always watching this show. And the fact that the Cincinnati Reds are staying competitive, and we have some pieces that are very much enjoyable to watch on a very frequent basis, and we have some horses coming up, and we know that. We've talked about that at length. We're not going to do that on this show. So any final thoughts, Nick? And if I don't obviously remember, please let them know what we're going to do tomorrow for Mother's Day.
Yeah, so all Reds minor league is tonight. If you're watching, here's a graphic. I will record in podcast form a quick recap of what happens tonight for tomorrow morning. So, but yeah, some good pitchers tonight. Abbott is going for the Bats. Connor Phillips is going in game 2 for Chattanooga. And then Julian Aguilar is going for Dayton. So some really good pitching tonight in the Reds minor leagues. And like I said, tomorrow on the podcast form, make sure you tune into that. We will run that down. And then tomorrow, Luke Weaver against Braxton Garrett. Braxton Garrett has a 13.97 ERA in May, so this is a golden opportunity here for the Reds to leave Miami with a sweep. That would be just incredible. And then, like Trey said, we're going to go live about probably around 10. Let's call it a loose 10 tomorrow, so that way we can celebrate Mother's Day and, spend all the time that our wives deserve, and then we'll do something late. And so make sure, what do you need to do, Tracy? You need to make sure that you are subscribed to Chatterbox Sports on YouTube.
Yeah,
you need to hit that bell. Hit the bell.
The bell's an important thing.
The bell's a huge step.
It is. The bell is a big step, because if you don't go to the bell and you tell yourself that when we go live that it lets you know, it's really hard to keep up with things, right? But I also seen a stat the other day that said something along the lines of like 12% of the people that watch our channel is like subscribed to the bell, or they have the bell checked. So there's some people in this chat that we are very much appreciative of watching this show every day that haven't hit the bell. Just hit the bell. But Sirboy, I want to give Sirboy a shout out for someone that, he's trying to be very optimistic in the chat all the time. He's on my side. I got to tell you, he came through in the clutch. That is Sirboy Wonder 513, letting you know that's what the helmet looks like. That is a good look. I got to be honest. That is a very, very nice look. And I actually like the black pants in that spot, the way that looks. I didn't really get a chance to see the really thick red piping on the side. I like that. I don't know, again, 100%. I can't follow the city side of this. I guess I'll figure that City Connect thing out. I don't understand why the Duke Energy Center would be the answer there. Maybe it is. I don't know. I was waiting for you to tell me that the 5 championships meant the 5 lines.
Just wait till maybe, I don't know. Just wait till we have Christian Encarnacion Strand and Ellie De La Cruz in those jerseys. Now that's going to be some intimidation. Some intimidation on the other side coming up in those bad boys. Uh-oh.
Well, we did say that we weren't going to do that on the show, and we're not. Because, as always, we'll be back better than ever tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I know you're thinking right now that I might have forgotten something. I didn't forget. I'm going to dunk. We're going to dunk a basketball real fast. I don't know what's going on in this basement, but that's what happens when your kids are home and they're not at school, is they make a mess all over your house. So here we go. At this point, just going to wing it on the fly. Not sure what I'm going to do, but we'll figure it out. More importantly, the Reds win. Cheers to you. Much love, chat. This is my one and only shout out to FC Cincinnati.
Hey, Cubs are down 5-0.
The Cubs suck.